Hey, what's up? I just wanted to show off my entire antique and vintage camera collection since I've made some recent additions to it, and it's kind of at the point where I don't think I'm going to be adding anything to it for the foreseeable future. Granted, I don't know if anything unexpected is going to come up, but as far as I can tell, it's kind of where it's at now, and I don't plan on making any additions to it. So, in chronological order of when I received it, I'm going to be showing you all of the vintage and antique cameras that I have. So starting, we're going to go ahead and start with this. This is a Sony Mavica. I'm pretty sure this is from the mid to late 90s. 1990s, that is, obviously. It's a digital camera, and the neat thing about it is that it records, just a moment, floppy disks. It records its videos and photos onto a floppy disk. In fact, it has a eject right here. Right there. Floppies. Quality's pretty low. It looks, which in and of itself as an aesthetic is actually pretty nice. And unfortunately, I don't have a battery charger for it. So I took a lot of pictures, loved taking them, and now I can't take any more. It can record either a photo or a 5-second long video clip. Next up is my VHS camcorder. This is a Sony Panasonic AG-188, and again, no wait, I do have a battery charger for it, but this thing's battery is kind of, you see, weirdly enough, this thing has a lead acid battery in it, which I can check right here. Lead acid battery. No, upside down. Right there. It's not doing too good. This thing's battery situation has been kind of really bad from the beginning. It's just bad. Next up, this is where it gets real interesting. This is a Kodak No. 2C Autographic from right around 1920. Folds out, and this is restored. Actually, it's the original one. The original bellows was in horrible condition. I got a new bellows for it. I made a new handle for it using cable management strips and a bunch of electrical tape. And unfortunately, this uses 130 film, which you're not actually able to buy anymore. So I had to buy some plastic adapters to get it to shoot on 120, and it works. But because 120 is a lot thinner and it still has the same height, the pictures that come out of this are extremely portrait, and because of that, it can only take 6 pictures per roll of film, which is not very good. However, it is more or less a pretty good camera, and I like it. I like it a lot. I haven't been using it much though, since I've got a better camera, which we'll be getting onto next. This is my Kodak Brownie from about the same area, same few years span. This is, in my belief, the simplest camera you can possibly make. I do not believe that a film camera could be made more simple than this one. I've taken it apart and I've seen the shutter mechanism, which you can't see all too well here. It is so mind-numbingly simple. Click, 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 you know, and then you turn it, you get to the next one. It's just, you cannot adjust anything on it. It has no adjustments. It is just point and click, turn to the next picture, right? It's so simple. It's literally made out of cardboard and wood. And then up next, this was a gift. This was a birthday gift to me from my cousin. It's very similar to the 2C Autographic that I have, except that it's a little bit smaller and it natively shoots 120 film. It's not in very good condition though, unfortunately. I've taken it apart. I've fixed it up as best as I could. It works. I will, however, not be shooting with this. It's a decoration piece, which is why I was already folded out to begin with. Up next is this Polaroid, and I've actually got two other very similar cameras, but I don't consider them in my collection. They're just kind of somewhere. I think they might be in the attic. I chose this one out of the three as my favorite, and then put it in my collection. It folds out. I don't know how to use this actually. I should get some film for this. I haven't used it. I don't know how to replace the battery in it for the capacitor. You know, once I buy film for it, I'll actually look into how to use this. I do like the way it looks when it's folded up. It's proper nice. It's proper nice. And then the next two I actually bought at the same time, and actually the last two. So since we're going in chronological order, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show the one that I planned on buying first. So I bought both of these at the same time. I had already known about this camera for months in advance and had been wanting it for months. And I finally was like, okay, I'm going to go there and I'm going to buy this camera. And while on the way there, noticed the other one, right, that he never had before. It must have been very new. So this is the Kodak 50th anniversary Brownie. It's in amazing condition. It is in amazing condition. So this camera is a very interesting story. This is the 50th anniversary. They made 557,000 of these, and out of that 557,000 of them, 500,000 were given away for free to any 12-year-old. So if you were a 12-year-old in 1930, you can get one of these for completely free. Just go to like any camera store, Kodak store. I don't know what the situation was back then, but this camera is in amazing shape. Everything works on it. I love this camera, and it will be replacing my other Kodak Brownie as my new main camera. And up next, it's not really something I can hold, so I'll just, you know what, I guess I can try to pick it up and show it on camera. It's very big. So ever since I got into film photography and antique film cameras, I stumbled upon wet plate cameras, and I've always thought, you know what, that'd be really fun to try one day. But the prices of wet plate cameras were so high, so expensive, and I decided to not really look into them because I knew that I'd probably never end up having one. But while getting to the back for this camera, I saw one in this guy's antique store, and since I had seen pictures of them and whatnot, I was like, wait a minute, that can't be. Is that actually a wet plate camera? So I walked up to it because it was on a tripod. It kind of looked like one, and it was on a tripod. I'm like, dude, this is either something really weird or it's a wet plate camera. Sure enough, I walk up to it, poke around, and I'm almost definite. This is a wet plate camera. So I ask him about it, and yeah, he says it's a wet plate camera. It comes with the tripod, the camera, and a box with plate holders that were elsewhere. So I'm like, yeah, can I see the box and the plate holders? I want to check this thing out. So he brings me the box, the plate holders, and honestly, dude, the price was not bad. $195 for what I'm about to show you. This thing was built in about 1885, or at least that's when all the patents say. So this is the box that it all comes in, okay? This box right here, it's a pretty nice box. You open it up, and it comes with two wet plate holders, only one of which I'll be using, since this box only has room for the camera and one wet plate. So I'm just going to, like, out of the two, pick which one is the best. It's the one with this one right here with the green fuzzy top. So this one's just going to be on display or something. And then put them both in the box for now. And then the camera and tripod. It looks so beautiful. I love it. I'm thinking of just having it on display on its tripod, fully out, ready, photo ready all the time. It is just beautiful to look at. Let me get this thing on camera. Look at that. Let me take that lens cover off. Look at that. I'm able to choose the aperture. Put the lens cover back on. That's the shutter, by the way. Since this thing's exposure rate is so low and the ISO is so low, it doesn't actually have a proper shutter. You instead remove the lens cap, wait a few seconds, and then put it back on. That's your shutter. It extends, and it's got this plate right here. Don't look at that. You open this up. At the top, there's this little thing, and this part comes down, and that's where you put the plate cover. It is just amazingly beautiful. Like, look at that. I love looking at this thing. I love looking at it. It's beautiful. And it folds up so well. All this folds up to fit inside that box. That box is also original too. Like, you would buy that box with this camera in it, right? And probably one wet plate cover. Like, in 1885, you would buy that box. And that's your camera box. You carry your camera and the wet plate around. It's pretty cool. I'm going to be making my own custom mobile darkroom so I can actually take this thing around and take pictures, you know. Small problem. Small problem. The chemistry kit for this thing, and it's a lot. There's a lot of stuff, a lot of instructions, a lot of bottles, a lot of chemicals, a lot of steps. It's a lot. It's complicated. For, let's be honest, not very good pictures. $330. Granted, that $330 will get you a few hundred pictures, not including the plates. But wow. It's going to be a while before I actually take some pictures with this thing. But it is just so beautiful. I love the wood. It is, this thing's actually completely light proof. I mean, well, there's some, you can probably see this. There's these cracks. They do let in light. But I'm thinking of just putting electrical tape on the opposite side, which actually, check this out. Pull that. So putting electrical tape right there. And then you just put that. Oh, and by the way, you may be able to see right there. In wood, it's stamped 356. It's stamped here, it's stamped here, it's stamped here, like everywhere. 356. Which kind of tells me that this was the 356th one that this company had made. Which is pretty cool. And then there's little metal plates right here on the folding part. Patented October 20th, 1885. So this camera was patented in 1885, which means that you could have, probably in 1885 or 1886, bought, granted a much earlier, of this exact camera. This camera was probably made in like 1890. This specific one, maybe like 1890 or something like that would probably be my guess. But I'm going to call it 1885 because the exact camera model would not have changed since 1885 to 1890 or 1895, whenever the specific camera was made. Since there appears to be no stamping of when it was made specifically. There's no date of manufacture. There's only the 356 stamped on the wood. So I'll try and do some research on that, see if I can find anything. And outside of that, I've got a wet plate camera now. And it's big. It's real big. So that's my antique camera collection. And without further ado, see ya.